unprofessional. This is his channel. He's supposed to be here, shooting a reaction video. It's his channel. What an unprofessional little prick. I showed up, but it's his channel. He can't even show up for a reaction video. Come on. Oh hey! There you are! Sit down. I'll just shoot another reaction video. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Snyder. You gotta sit close and get in frame. It's bad enough you were already late. Hey! Jesus Christ. Hey, just scoot this way. That's it. That's good. It's already bad enough you were late to your own channel. This is your channel. Why am I starting your videos when you're late? It's your channel.
Well, stuff happens.
Okay, so we're doing another reaction video. This is 15 creepy dolls caught moving on camera?
Yes. Now, how quick are you when stuff like that happens?
Well, when dolls move, it depends on the situation.
Okay.
I have a Chucky doll. It's hiding in the closet. What?
Nothing, it's just, you know.
What about you, dolls?
Aside from the one moment with a Joker doll,
Oh, explain that moment.
I left my room and I had
Don't look at me, look at the camera.
I was in my room. I had a Joker doll, and it was placed on my dresser, and it was in one spot. And unless I moved it without memory, which I don't think I did, I came back and it was in a totally different spot. It's the only time I felt like something like that has happened, but it caught me off guard. So I immediately...
Yeah, when it's time to seek professional help is when it's standing in the middle of the room looking at you.
Yep. Or you wake up...
The thing has its head down.
Or when you wake up and it's standing right above you. Then you run for your life.
Either way, we have the video pulled up, and the first shot is horrifying. Let's get into it.
Some dolls are just downright disturbing. Just the look of shivers down your spine. But if you've ever had that odd sensation that they might be watching you, you may not be too far off. There are some stories out there that would make your hair stand on end. From the doll with a wooden framed body that appears to come alive to the blinking ventriloquist dummy, here are 15 creepy dolls caught moving on tape.
Finest.
Number 15. Walking Alone. If you've ever seen the night bus on Harry Potter, where a Jamaican man's head hangs off the windshield but still talks, then the clip of this unusual doll may not be quite as disturbing. A large group of people are walking down a busy street, but no one seems to notice the bizarre figure accompanying a gentleman as he steps out in his bright red sneakers.
So, is that what happened to Michael Jackson after they got the body out of there?
They put his head on a wooden...
They put his head on a wooden thing.
No, I'm pretty sure no, it's not what happened.
Well, that looks like Michael Jackson.
In fact, all is relatively calm. I don't know about you, but I, for one, would be at least stopping to take a closer look before hightailing it out of there. This doll, if you could call it that, looks for all the world like a severed human head with a ton of white makeup on and red lipstick, hammered onto a wooden frame. Why anyone in their right mind would want to be walking down a busy street in the middle of the day with such a peculiar-looking doll on their arm, I'm unsure. But perhaps it's a normal daily occurrence for this chap. Who knows? And if you didn't think the situation could get any worse, it does. The doll appears to be walking by itself. Okay, the guy is holding it by the wooden arm, but its feet are moving without any assistance whatsoever. Either this disturbing character has been crafted by some genius, or it's alive.
Built that way.
Personally, I'm hoping Pinocchio's Geppetto's had a hand in this one, because any other scenario is just too frightening to think about. Don't you think? Before we go on, we have a cool challenge for y'all. It'll take about 5 seconds to complete. Let's make a deal. Just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you will get 10 years of amazing luck and fortune. Try it. It actually works. Number 14. Doll blinks. There is some truly disturbing video footage that has been released online of what appears to be a ventriloquist doll locked inside a glass cupboard. And that's not even the scary part.
Got the jail for that.
The footage starts out as simply a still shot of the doll head sitting in its case. Its eyes at this stage are shut and its mouth slightly open. It's not clear where the video was taken, but it seems to be some sort of museum or room of displays. The clip just seems like your average security cam footage. However, after just a few short seconds, the doll's eyes slide open, and shortly after that, the display case swings open. From here, it shuts its eyes, and its mouth begins to move like it has something to say. It was probably something like, "Get me out of here." Well, mate, you're not alone. The video was captured by collector Michael Diamond, who had set up the camera because he had noticed the latch of the case had been left open a few times over the course of a week. But even after watching the footage, he still had no explanation as to why the doll, affectionately known as Mr. Fritz, was moving on its own. He insists the footage was no stunt, and he was so shocked.
So you could say.
Oh God.
So you could say. He was on the Fritz.
That he has locked Mr. Fritz away permanently under a blanket and heavy chain.
Giving you nothing, I ain't giving you any attention on that one.
Caught moving on camera. This CCTV footage was captured of a puppet moving at night, but the story behind it is even more sinister than the movements themselves. The puppet was said to have choked its former owner in the middle of the night, so he was under...
Huh? Wait, how does it... How dare you shove your hand up my ass! Like what? Okay. If this has anything to do with aliens, I swear to God. Let me guess, the next video you're gonna make me watch is something involving aliens, isn't it?
Do you want? Is that what they want? Is that what they want? That's what matters.
Understandably locked away in a sealed glass container. The footage that was
Like
released
the video,
is
we'll
barely
make him watch
60
one.
seconds long, but gives us more than enough information to be completely spooked. Quite frankly, watching the footage is unnerving enough without the knowledge of what this particular fellow was capable of doing prior to his imprisonment. The footage is simply of the puppet sitting in its container, and for the majority of it, the puppet just starts repetitively moving its foot up and down. It takes its time in doing so, which makes things even more eerie looking. However, even a slight movement like this is enough to send shivers down the spines of the bravest souls, of which I'm not one. If this doll has the ability to choke a grown man in the middle of the night, then its current owner might need to reconsider the safe house it's presently enclosed in. I mean, a glass box could easily be broken by this guy, surely. Some options I can think of off the top of my head might include a pass-coded underground safe or an underwater coffin. Whatever the case, this guy needs to be securely
Unless
locked
there's a
up.
thing that
Don't you
people
think?
have.
Number 12.
What are you
Haunted
into?
doll moves arm. Ah yes, a room completely stocked full of old, creepy-looking dolls. What could be scary about that? Well, for one, this is almost every child's nightmare. At least every child with a soul. In fact, there are also adults out there that are haunted by dolls. Whether they remember that peculiar-looking clown, porcelain doll, or lifelike character that sat on a chair in their room, or perhaps had the sneaking suspicion one was watching them, who knows? But some dolls simply belong in nightmares in general. This clip is clearly of someone's spare bedroom because there's no way anyone in their right mind could sleep in there. This is the stuff of horror movies. Sinister music playing in the background doesn't help, and neither do the hundreds of faces staring blankly at the camera as it takes in the scene of the room. There are dolls everywhere of all shapes, sizes, and races. There are also several clowns in the crowd, the only ones with smiles on their faces. This video is unnerving to watch from the get-go. The dim lighting and slow camera movement leaves the viewer wondering if something's gonna jump out of nowhere, a little bit like a scene out of Child's Play. As the fan spins away above the group of dolls, the camera zooms in on a select group, and that's when you see it. At 48 seconds in, you could easily blink and miss it. The moment where a doll moves its arm ever so slowly up and then down.
No! No! Oh no! No! Breathe. No! No! Oh my god. Holy no.
Do you want to go back to one side?
Holy sh... Say you?
It's quick, but it is there. It happens so quickly, but when you go back and watch it again or in slow motion, it's
Just so no!
even more so because you know it's gonna happen. To be completely honest, I wouldn't mind meeting the person that owns all these dolls.
Why?
Obviously not easily spooked, that's for sure. Number 11. Haunted doll moves at dawn.
Oh!
The background to this clip sounds like a radio that hasn't been tuned properly, fuzzy and downright annoying. But if you can sit through it, you will be well rewarded for your patience.
Holy...
If you think the item being knocked off the side of the chair is what you've been waiting to see, you are mistaken. There is much more to this 2-minute footage than meets the eye. In fact, some of what happens is so subtle, you might not even notice it the first time around. So there might not be any jump scares, but a doll sitting on a chair being recorded for this amount of time must have something on mind, surely. And it does. The video is simply of a blonde-haired doll in old-fashioned clothing sitting on a chair next to a small clock. It's a very eerie experience to sit through the entire clip, as you expect something crazy to happen at any moment. After about 40 seconds of silence, the doll's arm begins to shift slowly for a solid 20 seconds or so. Then, for the rest of the clip, it's
Oh god! Oh my god!
It's not the creepiest video out there, but just the pure silence and the visual of a doll moving on its own is enough to send shivers down the spine and create goosebumps across the arms of those brave enough to watch it. Number 10. Doll comes to life. We often see in horror films that children are the prime target for spirits. In some cases, these spirits take the form of a doll or toy.
I have the exact movie on the
Conjuring
show.
did it, along with Poltergeist and countless others. However, the difference being that, for the most part, these stories are fictional. You would never expect to see such disturbing things happen right before your very eyes. This clip, however, shows us that it is possible. A little girl is seen innocently
Why
playing
does it
with an
look like
assortment
this
of
was shot
dolls
in like
and
72,
toys.
but there's a
She's having
frozen
a lovely
backpack?
time chatting to herself, but viewers can't help but be drawn to a small doll sitting alone off to the side of the room. As the video progresses, the doll can be seen slowly tilting its head while the girl is too busy playing to notice. The footage then cuts to the lounge room where the same child is drawing at a table. A few seconds in, she notices her paper is moving on its own. This action...
Okay. So you know how Disney is so innocent with, you know, Toy Story and You Got a Friend in Me and all that? No. That now has created every one of these videos. Toy Story is evil.
That's you can blame it?
Yes. You know that scene. You know the scene. The uprising where they all attack Sid. That happens. That happens. You never trust G.I. Joes again.
obviously spooks her, and she takes off out of the room. A wise move, considering what happens next. What appears to be some sort of invisible entity begins throwing her crayons, pencils, and papers everywhere. The clip ends with the table slowly moving on its own across the room. There's no way to tell if this was staged, but it's very convincing. If it is real, the house is obviously possessed by at least one, if not two, spirits of some kind. I'd be putting up for sale sign out front as soon as possible, but hey, that's just me. Number 9. Possessed Barbie doll.
Oh!
Is another link.
I'm so glad I'm having you do this. Hi. Where's Ken?
And you'll miss scenario, but it's well worth a watch. The video is of a little girl playing with her 2 Barbie dolls.
God.
One of the dolls has pink hair, so it's clearly a more modern version, and the other is blonde.
Oh,
now, although
it's
she
more
looks
modern,
pretty
just-
ordinary and isn't playing much of a role in the pretend conversation between the two, you still want to keep an eye on her. She's the one that really has the talent here. I kid you not. The little girl is talking away, making the pink-haired Barbie wave at her blonde-haired friend, completely focused on the dolls. Her father yells out to her, and she replies, unhappy at being interrupted from her play. But whether the blonde Barbie thinks she needs a talking to, or she just wants to join in the one-sided conversation, we may never know. But she twists her head quickly around to stare at her. For me, it was rather unnerving, but the reaction from the little girl was priceless. I'm sorry, it made me chuckle. She dropped the dolls, screamed, and fled from the room. I wonder what...
I could say it's
Is that what you're doing every single time now?
it's a real head turner.
Is that what you're doing every time now?
I'll be here all week. Oops.
She said to her father. We can only imagine how that conversation played out. Number 8. The Haunted Teddy Bear.
Fuck! Okay.
A haunted castle and a haunted teddy. What could
coming over
possibly
here.
go wrong? The infamous teddy bear that's owner was forced to bury 30 miles away due to some rather bizarre occurrences features in this real-life horror story. Its owner, Denise, said that the bear would often growl through the night. She believed it also
Wow.
caused her to suffer from splitting headaches and nausea. A team of 3 volunteers traveled to stay in one of Britain's most famous haunted sites, Bolsover Castle, where they spent an entire night in the same room as the supposedly haunted bear. With the help of paranormal investigators and a heavy supply of ghost hunting equipment, the group managed to find plenty of evidence to back up Denise's claims. They spotted supernatural entities, known as orbs, traveling around the room as they slept, whilst the cameras also went out at the beginning of the witching hour. The spirit box was used to translate the ghostly presence as it warned the group to stay away. It's hard to tell if the evidence points towards the spirits within the castle or the spirits within the bear, but I suppose it's supernatural evidence nonetheless. Number 7. Composition doll moves on its own. A completely stationary clip that lasts for all of 30 seconds shows an old composition doll that looks like it's seen better days. These dolls are already unnerving enough on their own without any real facial or stylistic features.
I'm not
the doll
even needed for
moves
this.
in
You're
the
the one
video
that's
very
doing this.
slowly
That's
and
doing
only with
this.
its right hand as if trying to answer a question in the classroom. When the light changes in the room it's sitting in, the doll
Oh
returns
my
to its
God.
previous position, which is also rather odd. Although it was an uncomfortable 30 seconds for the person watching, how would you like to be the person who caught the unexpected movement on camera? Apparently, the owner was quite startled by the situation. Prior to seeing this, he hadn't believed in ghosts or supernatural entities. Wonder what he thinks now. This moment may have just converted him into a believer. Unless, of course, he's playing the audience like a fiddle. It's hard to tell. Number 6. 100-year-old doll moves by itself. This 6-minute clip is of a 100-year-old doll that was left sitting on its own for 24 hours by its owners. That seems normal enough. I mean, dolls aren't like children. They don't need to be supervised every hour of every day. It's nice for them to be played with occasionally, but they're just toys. Or are they?
Oh!
The footage from this camera was retrieved after the doll had been recorded for the
another
whole
movie I have
24
sitting on the
hours.
shelf.
And what they found was shocking. The doll's body and limbs move sporadically over the course of the clip, with its face twitching every so often. In fact, it's truly disturbing to view. The doll looks like a real live baby, but with a blank, haunting stare. The clip, however, has come under fire, as many believe the doll is mechanical and being controlled by a person standing elsewhere. If that theory is to be believed, then one must ask why on earth they would film it for such a long period of time. Either way, it's a bizarre clip, and one I wouldn't be keen to watch under the cover of darkness. Number 5. Doll's eyes follow you. This entry is certainly the most believable of the bunch. However, that just makes
Holy
all the creepy.
fuck!
The spooky backing track adds more atmosphere to the dimly lit black and white clip
I'm
as
waiting
the
to let
camera
that
sways
go.
back and forth, playing on 4 ghost-like dolls.
The power of fun compels you.
In fact, they're so
God,
realistic that
those-
they actually
Oh!
look dressed
Oh!
up for Halloween.
Oh!
With their eyes
Oh,
up
get me the
during
heebie-jeebies,
from
huh?
side to side, you expect one to jump up and say boo any minute, but it just doesn't happen. Figures are dolls.
Oh.
That's what we're led to believe. They are some of the
One of
ugliest
that
dolls
one in the
I've
middle
left
looks
alone
like
in a
he's
dark room
named
with these.
Cletus.
I would lose my
Oh.
mind, and I doubt I would be alone either. They all look positively
Back.
zombie.
Oh.
Just like a
I
gesture,
will
a
fuck
baby,
something
a
up in
girl,
here.
And a clown.
Oh.
Rolling eyes to match.
Oh
Get me
my
out of here,
God.
Stat. Number 4. Haunted doll moves on its own. These types of videos make great use of their night vision equipment, and this almost 30-second clip is no different.
Fuck.
Up first is a dimly lit room, with just the glow of the camera allowing us to see what's going on. 3 dolls are set up on what appears to be a shelf, all sitting together in the dead of night. One can only imagine how this is going to play out. The smaller of the 3 is the one to keep an eye on. This is obviously the most troublesome of them all. Sounds a bit like most families, doesn't it? The smallest, most innocent child is always the one to be watchful of. Just a few seconds in, and the tiny
I'm the
doll
innocent
starts to
one.
move its arm ever so slightly, before keeling over onto the doll next to it. It then moves its arm in a downwards motion before falling completely off the shelf like a drunk at a party. We've all seen things fall off shelves before. Whether you choose to believe it's paranormal or not is entirely up to you. But the videographer was more
not
than
falling off the
convinced,
shelf. Where
and
does he
also
fall
a
off the
little
shelf?
traumatized,
Why
listing
does
the doll for sale soon after. Who could blame him, really? Number 3. Creepy
Oh,
doll.
God, that was one.
If this footage wasn't so traumatizing for the child, it would actually be funny. This very short clip sends literal chills down your spine, and the little girl will no doubt have nightmares for the rest of her days. The video shows a young girl holding a large-scale doll in a pink dress. The beautiful doll, no doubt the little girl's prized possession, looks very normal until the camera picks up something very unusual and equally disturbing. The little girl seems to be focusing on the camera operator and doesn't pay much attention to the doll she is holding. In fact, the pair are deep in conversation when the doll moves its head slowly to look at the girl holding it. The camera operator notices almost immediately and informs the girl, who instantly screams. The video ends there, but at this point, you've arguably seen enough. You can understand the reaction here, as the girl didn't see her doll move, but when...
You should just imagine if you were like holding something and then all of a sudden it just turns to look at you and it's just like... Like, that would fuck me up.
When she looked at it, she probably wasn't expecting it to be staring right back at her. Now that's really creepy. If I could make a guess, this doll's heading straight for the trash can. Number 2. Doll moves twice.
Oh.
In another black and white video, there appears to be a series of dolls lined
like
up.
Aunt Sharon.
During the course of the minute-long clip, the video flickers from lack of lighting, while the doll on the far right-hand side makes a couple of slight movements. On both occasions, it turns its head to face the other dolls before quickly
Yep,
shuffling
yep.
back into position. You could argue that this video
I'm
is
not
staged due to
no,
the
not
position
buying
of
that,
the doll
yep.
that's moving. Since it's on the
Not
edge,
that.
it's more likely that a string or pulley system could be utilized. Its 2 movements are rather bizarre and do look a little awkward in comparison to other doll movements we've seen, so it could all be a clever ruse. But you never know. Stranger things have happened, and this list has already shown us plenty of them. Number 1. Bewitched Doll. This video is truly bizarre. It appears to be set in a rural neighborhood. There are multiple people surrounding a large doll. She's almost on the scale of a small child and dressed completely in pink. The video isn't in English, so it's not easy to understand what's going on. One minute the doll's standing still, the next minute the owner has it by the hand. As they walk with it, the doll appears to do the same. The doll's movements are awkward, but are very similar to how a human would walk, particularly a little human that hasn't had a lot of practice. Everyone around is quite surprised by this, with the pair walking around in a small circle. From a distance, it looks like the owner's walking around with a little girl, but get up close and you might be convinced that paranormal activity exists. With this one, I'm not so sure. There are a lot of reasonable explanations behind this footage, including a mechanical doll. They're out there. What do you...
Yeah, okay. So you see how his hand's positioned right here. If I may, got the wrist, there's a button. As he's walking, the button is what moves the legs.
I remember there's a
When it comes to
part of
dolls,
this clip
some have the
of that
power to
doll they
haunt
don't
you,
show, which
others
is
not so much. It really
two
depends
other
on their...
people trying to get it to walk, and it won't move.
It won't move.
It won't move.
Really.
It stays perfectly still. That's why I'm not sure why they didn't show that, because I would play more into it. But I don't know why they didn't show that.
So that was that.
You left the seat twice.
Yes! 'Cause it's terrifying. The power of fun compels you. The power of fun compels you. Anytime you have me do any, like, haunted doll related stuff, I have my weapon.
Okay.
And if this fails, I've got another one. I literally... Do you want the other one?
No. I'm not the one leaving my chair.
Well, it's horrifying.
I mean, yes.
You're staying here now.
Okay.
He's not going back up there.
Okay.
No, that's the one that's gonna frog splash me at night.
That'd be a hell of a sight.
Of course it would for you.
I mean,
Especially if the mattress was back on the bed.
but I mean, also just
Back on the floor.
a picture perfect Elmo Frog Splash. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I'm good.
So, yeah, next time when we do a reaction video, don't be late to your own channel. Because now you have a reputation for being late. This is your channel.
This is what happens.
I just inhabit it.
You're lucky to be in it.
you can't be late.
I can be whatever time I want.
Yes, but... Okay, whatever. Thank you for watching.
Bye!